Hriste Bože, raspeti sveti, srpska zemlja kroz oblake leti, leti preko nebeskih visina, krila su joj Morava i Drina. Zbogom prvi nerođeni sine, zbogom ružo, zbogom ruzmarine, zbogom leto, jeseni i zimo, odlazimo da se ne vratimo.
And the song is from?
It's a 14th century song when the Serbs went to pretty much fight against the Ottoman Empire for their own sovereignty. Pretty much all the men in the country were marching down south, and the whole song is about like they're leaving the women, the children, and like the roses behind to go die in a battle that they're not going to come back from. So they were marching down, and the whole army was singing this song on repeat, and it was pretty much just their homage to death and to the defense of the motherland. So it's specifically from the region that I'm from, so it hits close to home.
So was it taught to you at an early age? Or?
Yeah, when I was young, I first heard it, and then I've lived back home, and then when I came back here, you know, I really wanted to keep a lot of that, the nationality, the culture, and then like my dad listened to it a lot when he was in the war back home, so you know I picked it up and showed all my friends, and like I love the song, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you.
Good to have you, man.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we got a lot of information to share, but before I actually do that, I got to do a shout out to Ty, Nickel General. I got his tea today. Also, I'm going to give you guys a package of 3-ways, which are for drywallers. If you guys know drywallers, you can give them to them so they can try it out.
Sweet.
Perfect corners. I've done it. It works really well. Over 630 shows. The construction life. This show is constantly evolving. The idea is that I'm listening to the guests and I'm listening to our audience, and I'm trying to figure out where else can we take the conversation. Listen, I understand. It's not always about swinging the hammer. I've told everybody since day one, TCL is 50% about swinging the hammer, and TCL is 50% about the person swinging the hammer. So now we're taking it to the next level, level X. In TCLX, we invite guests to share their dark, hidden secrets of the industry without fear of reprimand. Each guest's identity will be protected with visual blurring and voice modification, allowing them to speak freely and openly. You might want to tune in to TCLX. It'll be exclusive. You'll have to find it where the real hard stories are going to be told and nothing's off limits. Because at The Construction Life, the truth matters. Book now to be a guest on the show. You can DM me through any of the social platforms. You can email me at info@theconstructionlife.com, or you can text me at 416-433-5737. TCLX is coming soon. So you want me to start? So just ceiling?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, for Nem and Mika, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then the actual names are, so people know.
Nemanja.
Nemanja.
Mikayel.
Mikayel.
Yeah.
And sorry, Armenian, right?
Armenian.
Yeah, man, totally. Okay, I love it. Just Ceiling, protective coatings. You can reach them at www.justceiling.com, on IG under Just Ceiling, and you can reach them at contact@justceiling.com. And the separate phone numbers, right? You want me to share the phone numbers?
Yeah.
647-724-4445. And then you guys also have the other business, which is Just for Snow Property Services, www.justforsnow.ca. You can find them on IG under Just for Snow Inc. And then contact at justforsnow.ca. Number there is 905-233-2436. Unfortunately, snow's coming, so you guys are loving that shit, I guess.
Oh, we're busy right now.
This is prime time right now. We're getting ready for our Super Bowl.
And then the last one is a whole other venture you guys are starting, which is basically Redefine Blue Collar, right?
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
you guys are starting. We'll talk about that as well too. So redefinebluecollar.com, and you can reach out to them after you guys get some more insight on that through contact at redefinebluecollar.com. All right. So I know that we chatted on the Zoom call.
Yeah.
And you guys are too young to start all this shit. So why are you guys choosing?
We stay busy.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
A little bit.
So you got which came first, the ceiling first or the snow?
The snow came first.
Okay.
The snow came first. Actually, before that was just a landscaping business. So we were cutting grass.
Maintenance. Okay.
Couple lawnmowers in the back of my dad's Honda, and off it was. Right.
How long ago was that? Like how?
That was about 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before my time.
before we met.
Yeah.
And
How did you guys meet?
So when we met was the inflection point, basically when the business went from a flat line to exponential growth.
What were you both doing before?
I was in university and I needed some
Majoring in what?
Environmental and urban sustainability, planning to go into sustainable development and urban planning, and then I needed some cash to make some money. And then
how was that course?
It was good. It's downtown, man. It was Ryerson at the time, and like
it's still Ryerson to me. I'm a Ryerson grad.
Same here.
You're Ryerson?
Same here.
My degree, Sky Dome. I'm sorry, I don't know shit about Rogers.
So all three of us here then, Ryerson.
Oh, you're Ryerson as well. What were you majoring in?
Economics and a little bit of finance.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. It just like again, the school is just very it's very downtown, very political, very bullshit. You know, it's bullshit. They focus on the politics and you know, you were talking about a lot of that DEI stuff. I saw on the Instagram, and like downtown is all about that, and like it just so much politics. You can't be yourself down there. You can't speak freely. You have to be very very specific.
Because you guys are white guys. I'm a white guy.
Oh, dude, I'm the worst. I'm the worst thing down there. So
I know, I get it. It sucks, right?
Yeah.
But I just keep on saying, just keep doing what you're doing. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
So you guys were studying.
Yeah. So
it wasn't working.
No. So it was working, and then I needed some cash to pay off school, and then my buddy was working with him. He brought me into the company. We were just doing some snow, and then COVID starts, all that bullshit. I got kicked out of school, and then he gave me an opportunity that nobody really gave me in my life, and then I just doubled down on this. Didn't go back to school for a couple of years. Gave him the finger, and then now I literally had 3 credits left. So I said, "Fuck it." I wanted to you know, I wanted my mom to be happy, so I just went back to get the degree, finish it up, and then now we're fully doubled down on these 2 and on redefining.
Well, how did you guys meet then? Just through crossing paths at Ryerson?
Yeah. Well, no, not at Ryerson. That was just a coincidence. It was a friend of his. Actually, my cousin was working with me at the time, my younger cousin, and then he introduced his friend. So then we started working together a little bit, and I brought him into the company. And then he's like, "Hey, like, you know, I have one of my friends, he wants to join." I remember thinking at the time, like, man, you know, we don't have the space, we don't have the money to afford any more guys. Like, we're full. What am I gonna do with one extra person? I said, okay, you know, bring him in. Maybe he can help around, and we could do a couple things. And then so he came in, and in around that time it was him and a couple other guys, like our core key leadership staff right now, our leadership team right now. Everybody came in right around that time, 2020. And
I love
business
that. I've heard so many stories about things starting during bullshit time.
Well, because we started back in 2014, but after all those years, after 6 years of working and trying different things, and had other businesses as well during that time, the business was basically right back down to zero. I closed everything down and moved everything back to my parents' house, and I basically had everything that the business represented at that time after 6 years of work in my parents' shed. So I hear a lot of guys saying, hey, they've been working at this thing for 5-6 years. After 5-6 years, it was me with a truck and my parents' shed, and I was back at my parents' house in their basement. That was it.
How'd that feel?
Felt great. It felt great. And you know, obviously it was demoralizing. But then meeting these guys, you know, Nem just by being introduced, and a couple other guys, you know, my other cousin came into the company, and he's been absolutely instrumental. And then his friend as well. And these guys were out of work, you know, because of COVID and everything that was happening. So the things that they were already doing, you know, one guy was in another part of the construction business. He was in carpeting. And that was my cousin, and you know, my other key member of the leadership team. He was doing something totally different. Right? He was in kinesiology.
So were you guys like sharing your stories and realizing that you guys are basically, you achieved all these losses, and you're all looking at each other going, "What do we do next?" kind of thing, and just pooled your resources together?
Honestly, it was more so like this was a temporary stop. I think for all of us, it was more so a temporary thing. Like I said, for me, it was just a little bit of cash to pay off my debt for school.
Oh, so you weren't thinking?
Oh, no. I was like, I'd done a little bit of snow removal here and there, and I'm like, I was working in the restaurant industry, bro, and it was fucking terrible.
2020?
Dude, I just got the job right before COVID, and then they kicked everybody out. Everybody got fired, and then they hired back like a small percentage of the staff. It was like slave hours with slave pay, and I was like, I'm first of all, I'm too smart to be making 14 an hour. Second of all, I'm too physically capable, and my dad was in construction, so I'm like, fuck it, let me go do some hard labor. And then, you know, we all wanted to make some cash. We got kicked out of all our jobs, and you know. Snow is a great way, like it's an emergency service, so there's always regardless. Work. And you know, there was no bullshit here with the COVID stuff, so it was a really good opportunity, like for us just to make some money. And then
Just for that summer.
Yeah, just for that summer. And then, we came together, and then we started experiencing some crazy growth, and we were all working like fucking crazy. And we realized that, hey, we kind of all like each other, and we're doing pretty good. And then this whole realization and this whole story only came after the fact. I think it was only maybe a year or two ago where we all kind of realized like what happened and how much shit happened. And from all of our lives and all of our perspective, like it was very unique. And then now we're all doubling down. We're doubling down on this, like I said, and really focusing because.
So then made it a legitimate business.
Yeah.
Right.
Having the guys come in and assume those roles, and also like just talking to him and talking to the other guys, I'm like, wait a minute. There's so much more that this team is capable of that, I can't just put them in a spot of, hey, you're operating this, you're in this truck, and you're going to be on the field. Like, there's a lot more that these guys can bring to the table. Why not bring every single person's unique talents to the table and see what we can create? We did that. We had a shot at it that first summer, and it was exceptional. It was the best summer we ever had. That very next winter, I think we grew another 300% that next winter. The summer after that, we already bought our first building. So it was like one summer, we're going from zero, one truck and a shed in the back of my parents' house, to 12 months later, we bought a building, and we basically then galvanized the team. And we started really going after the big
forcing growth.
So what was the key ingredient to go from the shed and then it was 3 of you guys? How many people?
It was me, Nem, and then Rob and Marwan. And Rob he's my cousin, and he's basically in charge of all of our sales and really driving the business forward on the sales side. And Marwan's operations, and he's an operational wizard, and he's really instrumental. And then Nem is everything creative, marketing, media, Swiss Army knife, heart and soul, culture, etc. And me, I'm just vision, leadership, and really trying to steer the ship and give a direction to all of this talent that we have under one roof.
So all 4 of you guys are starting from scratch, going into an industry that you're not exactly 100% familiar with, but you know that there's clients out there for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you guys started with the snowing, the snow plow, like the shoveling, that you started doing that, or the lawn first?
First it was landscaping,
and then it went to the snow,
before
right?
we even met. Yeah. Then we got into the ceiling business randomly. Just stumbled into it.
Interlocking ceiling,
because we weren't very busy, and this was when it was just me and a couple other guys, and this is pre-2020, and just kind of stumbled into it. Well, we're not very busy. What do we have? We have a pressure washer. We have a couple things that we can do, and I remember testing it on my driveway. All of my buddies were coming over, and they're drinking and they're partying, and I'm outside just power washing my driveway. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm testing out this new thing." And
where'd you find the products to test? Like, where'd you find that?
It was a garden center that I was going to, and I remember mentioning to them that, hey, like, we're not very busy. What do you guys recommend? They said, why don't you try sealing? So what's that? Okay, here's a product. You clean the interlock. Then I'm like, okay, then what? Then you sweep the sand in. Okay, then what? Then you seal it. I'm like, okay, hold on. I did the cleaning at my own house. Went back to them, like, okay, now what I do? They're like, use this. I'm like, okay, I did that. Went back. Now what? Seal it. Like, okay, is that it? Okay, great. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. Now I can start offering it as a service. How do I charge for it? This, done, and we're in business. So it's just like, we kind of just go headfirst into everything.
So how do you get clients now?
Now it's a very different story.
Yeah, we were at the home show this year.
So this is still 2020?
So this is pre-2020. Then in 2020, we rebranded the business. So we rebranded it into just sealing.
Okay.
Not this brand. It was much.
This is another rebrand.
It was a very different version.
Okay.
We started going all in on the ceiling side and having the ceiling as its own business for the summer. Not doing anything else.
You mentioned them that you went to the home show?
Yeah, that was the beginning of this season. So like you're asking like how do we get to work? So it's anywhere, like we'll do community engagements and events like that with the home show, and like we rebranded and we kind of launched this new brand at the home show this year. Like we just updated the brand a little bit, and then we're huge on presence in neighborhoods with bag signs. We're crazy on Google Ads, on Facebook, on social media, on like anything and everything. And like we start with a little bit. You start with the Google ads a little bit, and then you improve it and you get a really good. You do the Facebook ads and you improve it, and then you get a really good. And then we kind of like, we just do everything to start it. You get it started, and then start a few things, then you go back, you revisit it and get it really good. And then now it's like we have a really good lead gen system for just sealing, and then snow's its own thing.
So out of that gate, the first year, doing that work and getting it all ready, what was the client count like? What did you guys attract?
So that first year we did about 300 projects.
So 300 clients, or
300
is it
clients.
Wow, eh?
The first year.
The first
summer. The first summer.
So was there profit in the first year?
There was a lot of profit in the first summer. In the first summer, there was a lot of profit. We rolled 100% of that profit into the winter. So now we're into that first winter as a different team, and we're still
not
operating.
getting into machinery winter, are you? Are you getting? Oh, you're getting into machinery winter.
So that first winter, we ended up buying our first 2-wheel loaders, and we're still operating out of a storage locker now at this point. So I remember we have a photo where it's a team. We have now 5 or 6 trucks and 2-wheel loaders, and we're operating out of a storage locker for that first winter.
But are you guys paying yourselves too?
Yeah.
A little bit, right? But everything's going right back into it.
Everything's going in. Everything's going
because
in.
you saw the potential in the winter now, and then you wanted to roll that over into this next summer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in and around that time, I remember going down to SIMA, the Snow and Ice Management Association down in the U.S. And I was blown away at some of the guys that were in this room. I thought, okay, I'm going down to this conference, and we're going to meet a bunch of guys that are in snow.
Introducing Alt Labor Solutions, the game changer for contractors and laborers. Are you a contractor needing skilled labor, or have labor in need of quick shifts? Or how about buying, selling, or renting tools, material, and equipment? Connect easily with contractors and find resources hassle-free through Alt Labor Solutions online platform. Post job listings with project details, browse public resumes, and choose the right person for the job. Explore their job board for new opportunities and connect with top talent. Alt Labor Solutions revolutionizes the labor industry with a user-friendly interface, secure payments, and a supportive team. Visit them at altlaborsolutions.com and start connecting with other contractors today. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
The presenter says, hey, let's go around the room and introduce yourselves. The first guy is like, yeah, I have, here's our company. We have like 300 employees. I'm going, okay.
You have 4 employees.
Yeah. I have like 5-6 guys. The next guy says 400. The next guy says 1,200. The next guy says, I'm like, what is this room I'm in right now? And it was, around that COVID time. So only the big boys had come down. We've gone down this year as well. It's very different, but only the big boys had come down. And I was blown away that snow is such an industry. And these guys are doing snow only. They're not messing around with anything else.
They don't deal with the summer?
They don't do anything in the summer.
Well, they use the summer to sell the winter and improve their winter and grow their winter and turn over like their machinery, their team. Like
it's a 12-month operation.
So why didn't you take that model instead of?
We did. So Just for Snow Inc. or JFS, we do a little bit now in the summertime, but our focus is winter. Our focus is snow and ice management. That's why the two companies are different.
Okay.
So with Just for Snow, we work on snow 12 months out of the year. We're the best in the business when it comes to snow. We do a little bit on the landscape side, but our focus really is bringing that snow only model down to or up to the Canadian market, and really being the player when it comes down to industrial snow, specifically year round. And so we kind of adopted a lot of the things that we were doing. So when we look at each of the companies, we do treat them completely differently. Different sales process, different clients, different target demographic. Our systems are different. The team a lot of the times is different. So really it is running 2 completely separate companies, especially like the way we're doing it now.
So what did you guys do with the just sealing part of it then? You did the same thing that you were learning from the snow side of things? You weren't. You tackled it differently.
It's a fundamentally different business model, different like.
But the attractive to get clients, the reach and the gen and all that stuff, it's the same model, no?
No, because one is residential, one is commercial and industrial, and your approach for large commercial and industrial clients is fundamentally different than residential. And it's they're both difficult for their own reasons, but like the Just Sealing brand is a little bit tougher to develop and requires a lot more attention than Just for Snow. Just for Snow sometimes sells itself. You get referrals or you get one big client and they provide you a lot of work. But like even the clients are completely different. Your revenue structure is completely different. Your pay structure is completely different. Your CRMs, like it's fundamentally a different business.
Why are you like? I'm trying to figure out why you guys are getting into this space, because it's not glamorous.
Yeah.
And then there's the secondary factor of there's big players in this space. When you start getting into the industrial snow space, and what I mean by mafia is the word, right?
Yeah.
And that's, so you guys are young, and when you're starting out, there's not much of a threat. But sounding, you know, I'm listening to you guys tell the story, and we haven't even scratched the surface of where you guys have gotten to and where you are now.
Yeah.
You were nothing at the beginning to them, but now you're something. And now you're pissing them off, right? So now you're diving into other waters now.
Yep.
So why do you guys want to tackle this? Because it's not a glamorous industry. It's profitable. You can make money from it, but there's also a lot of potential threat risks associated with this industry.
Huge.
So why do you guys want it then?
Well, there's a lot to unpack with that question. I think it was an opportunity. It was something that worked. It was something that worked for us, and we saw a lot of success. And
The business aspect of it.
the business aspect, well, I don't know.
Is that what it was? That worked? The business side?
It was the business side, but like, again, initially, like when it all started, it was all supposed to be a little bit of cash. We're making a little bit of money to get through this period. Then we started growing it, and we started fucking enjoying all of it, man. Like the biz dev, the growth, like, and we work like dogs. We work 24/7. Like we're in the shop every day of the week. 15-hour days are easy. So we enjoyed the hard work aspect of it, and then it kind of started rolling, and we went with it. And then now we're trying to expand and kind of pursue some of our own personal interests that are with the redefined blue collar stuff that we were chatting about, some of the media stuff. And we really want to expand that horizon. But honestly, like it's entrepreneurship at the end of the day.
That's
like,
that's what's driving you guys.
Yeah, the biz dev, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but you know, like I hate being at home. I don't know. I just love being at work. I love working, and I love working on something that actually brings some value into the world and brings value to other people and brings value to our guys, the guys that, you know, they're paying their bills with some of the stuff that we've put together.
So how many people are working now for you guys? Who's on the crew? How many?
So it's seasonal, right?
Yeah.
So in our season now, so we're getting into our winter season, which is actually about 7 months out of the year.
Yep.
Which is like our
Canada, Toronto. Yeah.
So it's our big season now. Between 70 to 100 in the winter. Yep. Well, like, so 70 last year. The reason I say is 100 is because, you know, we were putting that out there. We're going to get to 100.
Well, you're planning for this season.
Yeah.
100.
Right.
100.
Which 100. So now
we filmed a video actually, exactly 3 years ago. We filmed a video that year, and one of the goals that we put out there is in 3 years, we're going to have 100 people working under this company. There's a lot of things that we do.
You had no idea how you're going to get there yet.
No idea.
Zero.
No idea. This is year one of us, you know, buying the building, and this is the first winter in that building. And I remember
coming off of 300 clients that you had.
Coming off of 300 clients, my operations manager literally had his desk inside of the warehouse.
And warehouse is empty.
Empty warehouse. He's got a desk in there, and I remember looking at that, going, "How the heck are we gonna fill this place up? How are we gonna pull this off?" And now, obviously, we're out of room. But just to piggyback off of his answer as well. The industry, the snow and ice space is not glamorous, but for us it's actually about going after things that aren't glamorous. And part of the reason why we have to brand redefine blue collar is to encourage other people to go after the non-glamorous part of the business, right? Because snow and ice is a space where a lot of people are getting out because of the difficulty in the industry, the insurance struggles in the industry.
Say the number one reason is insurance,
right? The unprofessional landscape right now that exists in the industry and the fragmented market, that creates a lot of opportunities for us, and we're seeing that. So we're ready to step up to the plate on that side of things. But also, it allows us to have a bigger team. It allows us to work with clients year round and work with fewer clients that are AAA and can offer us multi-year contracts and multi-year deals, which solidifies our revenue. We're able to plan a lot more and forecast a lot more with our numbers that way. We're able to build a team better that way. Mm-hmm. And we're able to have an anchor that really contributes to every single other operation that we have. So JFS for us is that anchor. And it provides that consistent revenue for everything else. And then all of the other stuff that we're doing with just Sealing and Redefine, all the other projects that we have is more like, hey, let's really get creative here. And let's bring some value adds. And then on the JFS side, the primary objective of that business is is human development. Like, how do we develop our team within this container that we have? Because now we're able to offer guys positions year round. We're able to offer them salaries for 12 months out of the year. And we're not going to be able to do that with just this business. And I know there's other guys that run seasonal snow companies. We want to be able to offer guys year-round positions. We want our team to be our team year-round. The asset for us is the team. And that's what we work on. And that's the primary objective of that brand and really just growing in that space.
So why don't you guys do what most people that are tackling this non-glamorous side of the industry go from winter to summer? So you do lawn maintenance and just sealant as well. Why don't you guys tackle the maintenance side of it too?
We're dabbling into that a little bit.
Okay.
The primary way that the business is built is it's the maximum capacity for summer work right now is set at 20%. So if we do more than 20% in the summer under this business, it's actually going to hurt our bottom line. Just because of the way that we're set up, the roles, and also the setup of the equipment and how the company is functioning. To be classified as not a snow only, but really like a snow dominant business where your profit center is snow, you really want to be doing at least 70% of your revenue in snow throughout the year, at least. 70-30 is a nice split. Some guys are at 80-20, some guys are at 90-10. So our business model there is we want to make sure that we're not doing any more revenue than we need to in the summertime. So our goal in the summer with this is to break even. What is that number? If that number is 5% of revenue, we'll keep it there. Because every dollar above that is taking away focus, time, and energy that we can put into the winter side that is producing profits that are exponentially higher than the summer. And then we can have time and energy and effort to focus on other stuff. And also, there's guys that can't handle the winter like we can because we can start getting ready for winter in July. And we do.
Yeah. What's the split between the sealing and the winter, the snow?
Personnel-wise?
Yeah. No, just work-wise, right? Is it the same 70-30?
So sealing is 100% summer.
It's all, so you guys have a workforce that basically rolls over from the winter to take care of the sealing side.
A little bit. Most of the
not
work,
always, huh?
Yeah.
Guys who do sealing don't like the winter. Guys who do winter don't like the sealing.
So where do they, so what do the summer guys do in the winter and what do the winter guys do in the summer? Well, if they're not doing those options.
Some guys, so we do have turnover. Some guys do carry over into the winter. Some guys don't mind it.
But the majority of your workforce doesn't do that.
No. And we do have a lot of turnover. So if guys don't come back, we do a lot of internal recruitment. So guys will bring in their friends, they'll bring in their brothers, their cousins, like they'll just bring people in. Okay. But it is a lot of turnover, and like, you know, again, since we've been growing and going up to 100 employees, that's not easy. So like we do have a good recruitment system. So every year you're finding the new guys, you're bringing them in, great training program, get them through the system, and then get them out there.
And it's like, who are you finding? Yeah. Well, in the beginning it was like, okay, who are we going to get that?
Whoever
that
just can.
So now it's guys that are in roofing, concrete, asphalt, stucco, that don't have that winter work. And we'll bring in an entire company. We'll say, hey, okay, so you have 12 guys. Okay, we're going to take your whole company for the winter. And now you plus your 12 are working under our umbrella, and now you're managing your team of 12. So and we've done that with multiple different guys last year as well, and this year we're planning that. Concrete guys that are in roofing, and we say, okay, you're bringing your entire team over. So now your whole team has a solidified role in the wintertime, and you're the manager for that team, and now you're accountable for these guys, and it's sort of a way for us to also cut the overhead of having a route manager and a supervisor on staff. He's going to be the supervisor. He's costing $0 of overhead, and he's going to bring his entire team. And traditionally, those guys, they're not going to be like some of these mercenary guys that you have in snow that are just demanding top dollar. They're already making their money in the summertime, right? So they're willing to accept a little bit less, or you know, a good pay rate, but not at the top tier of the market, and they're going to work extremely hard because they're also tied into the summer side. So that's kind of the recruitment model there.
So the first year is 300. Second year was what?
Clients?
Yeah,
5
or 6.
Third year was what?
Third year was 700, 750.
And is this model just going to continuously go up, or is it going to tap out?
This year was a little bit flat from last year.
Yep.
We had a flat year. And the reason
the catalyst,
so you could speak on this a little bit, but from my from my direction, the reason for the flat line was we went from 1 location to 4. So we sort of set up
different geographic.
Yeah. Different business model now.
Okay.
So we're a multi-location business, and we went from 1 to 4. So we sort of set the foundation for now these 4 to become as big as the 1. So we set the foundation to 4x the business, but
it didn't do
it. Not the first year.
And especially with the ceiling side of things, since it's a residential market, anytime anything economically happens in Canada or on the world scale, it impacts the business. You see the change in leads, you see the change in your closing rate, you see the change in receptiveness, in demand, everything like interest rates. When they change, everything gets affected.
I know, but when it comes, so both ceiling and snow?
No. Snow is emergency.
Consistent. You always have those numbers, right?
Yeah.
The ceiling, you definitely see a drop.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But this year snow is
gone up.
Yeah, like I'm comfortable to say that like last year and this year, we're one of the fastest growing companies out there right now in terms of this space, the sector that we're in with the snow. This year is absolutely crazy with the amount of demand, the types of clients that are approaching us. The way we look at ourselves with this business is, if you have the hardest challenge in snow and ice, give us a call. We're not interested in the easy stuff. We want the hardest projects in snow and ice.
Why do you guys want that? Like, I mean, a lot of, like you guys said earlier, a lot are leaving the industry because of the insurance bullshit and just because of those risks, right?
Yep.
So, you guys are inviting the more difficult situations? To what? Attention aspiring tradespeople and entrepreneurs. Looking to break into the skilled trades or start your own home service business? Meet Trade Links Consulting, your go-to partner for success. At Trade Links Consulting, they're passionate about helping you find the right trade, build your business, and mentor the next generation. Whether you're exploring your options or ready to take the plunge, they offer tailored career consulting and startup guidance to get you on the right track. Visit them at www.tradelinkconsulting.ca today and book your personalized strategy session. Your future in the skilled trade starts here. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
So there's a system that we have to mitigate risk. So every single year, a company comes in and independently audits our operation, and they independently audit our snow operation for the level of risks that it poses if an incident is to happen or if a slip and fall is to happen. So we kind of go through it. Okay, do we have cameras on all the trucks? Do we have temperature control cameras on sites that regulate the ground temperature, and we figure out when a freeze and thaw event is going to happen? Do we have geofencing for every single site so we know when a truck was in there and what is the breadcrumb trail of the salt that was being put down on the site? Do we have independent team members that are going to go out there and inspect the property? Are we onboarding the sites with preseason inspections and satellite and AI technology to map this whole thing out and know exactly how much granular material is supposed to go down to take care of the pavement? All stuff that is, for us, a lot of work, a challenge that other guys aren't willing to necessarily go through. But it's a space we like playing because, to me, the harder it is, the more rewards are on offer, and we like going after those types of opportunities.
So right now you got the 4 operations going right now? That's what's happening?
For ceiling, yeah.
For ceiling, but not for snow.
For snow, it's HQ. It's the.
And then how far is where's your radius? Like how?
What would you say?
For snow, so in the summer it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to drive around, and your routes just work differently. So like we have properties out in Oshawa, we have properties in Kitchener. Like we're all over in the summer, but in the winter it's pretty much maybe West Saga, a little bit there, and then over to, let's say, Scarborough, and then everything in between, and then up till let's say Aurora, and then we kind of manage all that. And then obviously, like in snow, you have to just densify your routes, so we can virtually go work anywhere if we can build out a proper route that's profitable for the truck, for the loader, for the salt truck. We have a very complex system on how we actually price and quote properties to make it make sense. So we can virtually set up anywhere. We keep it local because right now our main location is out of Vaughan, and then we're going to be setting up a Mississauga hub this year and then expand out. But there's more than enough work within the GTA for snow and to really, really grow big.
So there is enough, like everyone can play?
Everybody can play, and like every single year. So we see a lot of turnover in the industry every single year. There's obviously the big boy sites that are always getting new quotes. But like if in 2022 we had a really, really rough snow event, whole city shut down and contractors were getting fired left and right. And a lot of people didn't want to renew their snow contracts because every snow guy was stuck, and the clients didn't like that, and they don't care what's going on with the weather. They don't care about anything. They see snow on their property and you're the worst person in the world. So a lot of people look for turnover in the industry.
Really?
Yeah.
So and every year out of their contract.
Yeah. So because typically contracts are signed on a 1 to 3 year basis.
Yeah.
We push for 3 year, obviously, recurring revenue for 3 years. But like if they sign for 1 year, as soon as that April 15th date comes, the end of the contract, pretty much tell you to fuck off, and then they look for somebody else. But it really depends on the client. Like there's some really, really good clients, there's some really, really bad clients, but most of them are kind of there in the middle where they're very reasonable.
Yeah.
Price point wise?
Well, I got this question actually on price point. I was at a landscape supply store, and one of the guys there, he was picking up some product, and the guys at the counter know me, so they say, hey, talk to Mike. He's got a big operation, and he had some questions regarding the business. He goes, yeah, I'm part of a group on WhatsApp, and one of the things we were talking about is how you can't make money in commercial snow. It's a race to the bottom. We've seen it. I've seen some prices out there that guys are actually doing work for. I'm like, we're at least triple that on some of these deals, and it's really, really scary, because if a guy's going to be doing that, that type of work for 2-3 years at that dollar amount, I mean, he's going to be out of the business really, really fast. So I think it starts with really knowing your numbers. But the way that we like to avoid the race to the bottom is instead of having a commoditized service, we want to be a one of one. Mm-hmm. And the way that we demonstrate being one of one is, what is the cost of not having a great service to the client? So we only go after clients where the downside risk for them is going to be incredibly high. Right. So if we're going to be late, or we're not going to do the work at a high level, what is their risk? What are they going to lose? So if it's a logistics company and they can't get their trucks out, and it's going to take them an extra 2 hours, maybe they're going to lose $100,000.
Yep.
So we'll do that research. We'll go out there and we'll only target clients that have a lot to lose, and we'll show them what they would lose on every single hour, or sometimes it's a 3-4 hour stretch of us being late and not performing the service. So what is the risk? If our ask is an extra 50, 60 grand on a contract, but on one single snowfall, if their current contractor cannot fulfill the service, they're set to lose 100,000, 200,000 or more. And trust me, a lot of these guys are losing a lot more than that. They can lose millions if they don't get their loads out on time. Okay, we want to show the client that we want to communicate in that way. So they're aware that we are aware of that. And we want to be a one-on-one solution. So don't call us if you're just looking for price. Call us if you're looking to mitigate your risk for your downside. And I think having these types of conversations with your customers is incredibly important. Having a very concrete and finite customer profile is also very important, and not to go after clients that you don't want to pursue and are not going to be profitable. We've cut out 70% of our clients twice on 2 years in a row, maybe 60% and 70%. Twice we've done that because we just looked at it and said, okay, we can't make money on these deals. Okay, so we're going to go after only these 30% that are making us all of the profit. Okay, what are these guys like? Let's get more of them. Then we kind of went through that process, added more clients, saw that it again wasn't working. Large retail, large residential, high rises. We couldn't make that work. The incentives weren't aligned. We cut it again. And then again, we brought on a new range of clients that now we're exceptionally happy with, and they're happy with us.
What was the difference between that final group of clients compared to the other groups of clients?
I would say that the need, they have a need for a high level of service. For us, that client demographic is a certain size. So, they have to be larger, industrial, high profile office.
Okay.
They have to have a lot of employees, get in at a certain time. High profile retail. Nem was just talking about this, where some of these retail stores count their parking spots by revenue per hour. So each parking spot is worth X. What were you saying that with that new site there?
I was 2 days ago. I was on site. We're onboarding a huge Costco. They just put it up. They redid the infrastructure of the streets. It's 2 levels: underground parking, above ground parking. And I was talking to some of the guys on site, and they were supposed to put up a building, additional retail space on this plaza next to this Costco, and they scrapped the plans to add. Maybe it was 20, 30 parking spots because Costco rakes in $1.5 million of revenue per day, where each of their parking spots costs $880 per hour.
Per hour.
$880. So they scrapped the building and added parking for Costco because that's what it's worth to them. And Costco has their pull. They can do whatever they want.
So if they didn't have those parking spots and they chose to use retail spaces,
Yeah.
It would
what's going to happen to those 800 parking spots?
Well, the other parking spots,
they wouldn't go shop. They would just come back when it's free.
Well, they'd be busy. They wouldn't have parking, or they wouldn't have capacity, or the other parking spots are now worth even more per hour.
And how did you guys find out this information?
Well, I was on site and I was walking around with a site map, and I guess the construction guys like that, so they were all coming over trying to talk to me, see if I'm supervising, if I'm inspecting, whatever. And then I was just telling them I'm bidding on the snow. And then we start chatting, and then I'm asking information because the site still wasn't complete, and I needed to check clearance to see if we can get our trucks in the garage. I needed to check the surfaces, if we can use salt or ice melter, just my entire site prep. And then he saw me with the map, and he's like, "Hey, can I help you?" And then I just start chatting with him. I start asking him, "How much snow do you get down here?" And we get in the conversation, and then we were specifically talking about piling locations because it's on the second level and you have nowhere to put the fucking snow. So what you'd have to do is you have to pile on certain parking spots, come back when you're done your route, put a bucket on, scoop the snow, and take it somewhere where you can actually throw it on the grass or haul it off site. And then these guys are super specific where on their parking spots, you're not allowed any heavy machinery over 4 tons. So any large loaders, any large salt trucks, you're not allowed to drive in the parking spots, only on their fire lanes. Mm-hmm. And then for the parking spots, you either need a really, really small loader, skid steer, or a plow truck to plow those areas. Super complicated stuff. It's a headache to figure out. It's a headache to dial in some of that pricing. But we love it.
Problems are profits.
Yeah. Have you guys calculated, depending on, I guess, how many inches of snow and how many parking spots you'll lose for piling up snow? Are you guys calculating that, or like you're trying to figure out? Because obviously they're losing money now on those spots that you're piling up snow, right? But it's factored in on how much snow comes up.
Yes. So it depends on how you set it up with the client, because some clients are cool. They're like, yeah, take those 5 parking spots back there. Not this Costco, but some clients are like, hey, you have these parking spots or that corner. You can pile as much as you want. We don't care. And then some clients, they're very particular where let's say you can't remove the snow off site right away. There's nothing you can do. We have to take those parking spots until, we can bring a truck or a loader, to take the snow off site.
You guys will offer that service?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the
But you want to also look at it like, what's the efficiency of the market? In the US, if we have a spectrum here where on the right-hand side, it's an extremely efficient market, and the left-hand side, it's inefficient. In the GTA in Ontario, it's a very inefficient market. In the US, with some of these markets, it's extremely efficient. What do I mean by that is the clients request the contractors to bill them per inch, per push, which means every single time that they are clearing snow, the client is only paying for the number of inches that the contractor had to clear that specific time. So for example, every time you clean 5 centimeters or 10 centimeters, we're going to pay you X. And that variable changes depending on how much you're actually clearing. That's extremely efficient. And how do they track that? There's an application out there that gives them an exact total of every single snowfall.
Yeah, the area. Yeah, exactly.
So and the client's only paying for that.
They're asking you to calculate it that way.
Yeah. So if they don't have a winter where they are essentially cleaning a lot of snow, they're not making a lot of money. And when they do have a winter with a lot of snow, they're only getting paid exactly for what they're clearing. So there's a lot less room for extra margins there. With us, in this market in Ontario, actually a lot of, I would say Canada-wide, Quebec's like this as well. It's very inefficient. Clients don't care. There is no creativity in pricing. A lot of what the US market is focused on is creative ways to price and structure contracts. Here, I wouldn't bother with that. There is no creative pricing. It's just one contract, flat rate, everything all in. The complete opposite of efficiency. So they're going to pay you a lump sum. Now it's your job to manage that lump sum and make the most amount of money possible with then your operations. So the way we look at it is, okay, we're going to get a lump sum. We need to know what that lump sum is. But then it's on us to then operationally manage it to a level where we can efficiently deliver. So it's very inefficient here, which leaves a lot more room, a lot more margin for the contractors that are playing in the space.
Are you guys, I'm just assuming, are you guys being attacked by the bullshit greenwashing crap? Like, are you guys attacked by salt? Because I never hear them complain about the salt. Like, occasionally they'll talk about runoffs, right? Because all that salt is going through the infrastructure.
Yep.
You can't do anything about it. You're not going to start spending a certain type of salt that's eco-friendly, so to speak, bullshit.
Yeah.
So is that a part of your...
Not really, because like one clear indication is what's the city using?
They're using salt.
They're using salt. They're using brine. And
so it's okay if they're using it?
Dude, they're throwing down so much salt.
A lot
because of liability, right? And we occasionally have to do similar things, but like you have to keep it safe. There is conversation in government. There is conversation in the politics and in the news, but nothing. You can get treated salt, but it's same bullshit.
What's the cost difference between treated salt?
It's like treated is about 30% more, but it's an inverse equation because traditionally areas that get more snow are paying less to get it removed. And it's really because of the standard. Here, specifically in the GTA, we have a standard of blacktop, right? Which
by what time?
By 5 a.m. or by 7 a.m. It's
not even on 24 hours, like because if you start snowing or whatever,
it's by a certain time.
Really?
So it's an extremely high standard that we have here that you don't have really anywhere else. And
who set that standard?
Well, it's the property management companies that then get lawsuits. And then they pass the lawsuit on to it's all insurance.
And you like essentially for the 5 months that you have the contract, any lawsuit goes directly to you. They don't give a shit what happened. You could have serviced the site. Like it snows, we plowed it, we salted it, we're all good. 5 days, sunny skies. We had a similar instance. The Eastros, terrible drainage on the property. Nobody gave us a call. Nobody told us jack shit about what's going on. There was a little bit of freezing. There was a slip and fall incident. Who's liable? They blame it on you. Guys walking across the property at 5 a.m. Doesn't work for the company. There's a little puddle. You've already serviced the site. He slips and falls. Lawsuits on your hands. Hence why we have all the cameras, the GPS tracking, the salt tracking, and we have an enormous amount of logs that we take that when said lawsuit gets presented to you, you just take all this information, boom, and you're good.
Meet Felipe, the visionary behind Versa Homes, a name synonymous with excellence in construction across British Columbia. Felipe's passion for high-end craftsmanship, sparked by his mentor Dan Zeklin, drives him to deliver exceptional results in every project. At Versa Homes, every detail matters, and Felipe's unwavering commitment to precision ensures that each project meets the highest standards. Client satisfaction is more than just a goal, it's at the heart of everything Felipe does. He's dedicated to making the construction process smooth and stress-free, keeping projects on time, within budget, and meticulously organized. If you're looking for a builder in British Columbia who values quality and client care as much as you do, look no further. Discover what sets Versa Homes apart. Reach them at www.versahomes.com or call them today at 778-65-BUILD, B-U-I-L-D, or connect with them on social media under @VersaHomes. Versa Homes, where your vision meets their commitment to excellence. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
Right?
So if someone slips and falls when it's not winter, and it's just like there is no unevenness in concrete and asphalt, and they just fall, who are they suing?
That's property management. Property management or the owner of the building.
It's important to understand that most people, when they're suing, they think that they're suing the company. So they slip at a Walmart or a McDonald's, they think they're suing McDonald's and Walmart.
No, they're not.
They're suing the
They're
contract.
shielded by all
and
this.
we just read a contract that one of these companies, I'm not gonna name any names, but it is insane what's happening out there with some of these contracts I'm reading.
It's predatory.
So, and I know guys are signing those contracts. So any contract that you sign, and I remember like being new in the business as well and reading these like 40-page contracts, I'm like, I don't understand this. I'm assuming this is a big company, so other guys are signing this. I need the work. I'm going to sign the contract, and I'm going to do the work. No. You have to read every single contract that you sign. You have to read every single word of every contract that you sign, especially when these contracts are set up in a way where you're carrying a lot of liability in a business like snow. Do not sign a contract that has any clause in there that is fishy. Now,
meaning,
what does that mean? So, first of all, you want to look at the way the contract's written. The way this contract's written and these types of contracts are written, the language that they're using is aggressive, right? So if this happens, you do this. If this happens, you're responsible for this.
We won't pay you.
We won't pay you.
We can hold your money back for as long as we want. If we find you at fault, and then there's a billion things that they can find you at fault for.
There's a 24-hour cancellation clause, for example, on their side. And there's nothing installed into the contract that protects you as the contractor. Most of these contracts, the one that we have and we get our clients to sign, is some things are protecting them, some things are protecting us. It's a give and take. With these contracts, there's no give and take. The cancellation can essentially happen instantly. Their liability is zero. You're responsible for everything. And the key you want to look at is if you are negligent and if you're doing something that is outside of what you're supposed to be doing as a snow contractor, then yes, you're going to carry some responsibility. But some of these contracts state that if you're negligent or not, if you did everything right, if you can literally show and prove that you've done everything that you're supposed to do, you're still responsible. And there's specific verbiage in there that says that.
Why do you guys
you want to be really careful.
Like, why do you guys want to tackle this space when so many others are leaving this space?
Well, those contracts, for example, we won't sign.
No.
Okay. So you've done your homework where you're reading this going, this is ridiculous. They're probably going to prey on younger, up and coming.
And they are.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
And they are.
This specific company, we've heard of an instance with them. This is after the fact when we asked around. A contractor, they withheld 60 G's, 60 grand. They didn't pay him. Right? And it's legitimately all in the contract that they're allowed to do that. So when you sign that piece of paper, you're signing away all your fucking money for the season.
Mark it up, send it back to them. Don't be afraid of pushing back. Now, what is your leverage in pushing back? I mean, if they have a specific issue and a problem that they want to solve, then they will be receptive to you pushing back on certain things. These types of companies, specifically property management companies, which are handling the majority of these types of buildings and sites, their obligation is to their investors, not to you.
Of course.
And they want to make sure that they're making the maximum amount of profit by having the property maintenance be at a reasonable price. So the level of service that they expect is extremely high. And the way that they're going to achieve that is by setting an impossible contract, holding you to that contract, holding certain money if you don't fulfill that contract, and going after the lowest price and the lowest bidder. So they're going to get a guy who's cheap. He doesn't have the infrastructure to do the great work, but they're going to hold him responsible for a high level of service with a contract instead of a relationship with a specific supplier where you're going to sit down, you're going to talk about what their needs are, they're going to be reasonable, you're going to present your plan and your thesis on how you're going to achieve that level of service on their property. You're going to create a real partnership. You're going to work together for years to come on all of their different sites. And they know that when they go to you, they're not shopping on price, but you're going to be, you're going to be offering a solution. And there's a relationship, and it's a partnership, and it's a long-term partnership. These are the types of things that you have to go after when you're in this business, specifically with snow and ice.
But it's ironic that everything that they're coming at you guys and they're asking for is everything that you guys are coming at them and asking for. Mm-hmm. But you're looking at this as a business relationship where if you come in and ask for these things, you start to taint the relationship. So they come back at you first and start tainting the relationship with these aggressive demands.
It really depends on the company, right? This was hands down the worst contract that we've read in company history. But
not the worst one we've signed.
Not the worst one we signed. But
you learn your lessons, right? That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you do have companies. You do have companies that are phenomenal to work with, that have phenomenal contracts, that are willing to rework their contracts to meet you in the middle. So there is absolutely the other side as well, where there's phenomenal partnerships, phenomenal management companies, and phenomenal clients to work with that are also looking for that long-term relationship with you, and they want to grow and do something great as well. And you provide a solution and you do good work for them, and you're both heading in the same direction, right? But of course there's the shitty ones too.
Yeah, but that's any industry.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's just
absolutely.
out there, right?
Yeah.
But are you guys finding it now that you've got your bumps and bruises? that you already, now we get this game. We understand this, how this works, right? Because I guess for other people, they could be starting in this industry and just get all consumed by the paper side of this, legal side of this entrepreneurship, right?
You could technically get consumed by everything from the contracts and the legal to the liability to your pricing to getting the work to like even managing the equipment,
right?
Sourcing the equipment, getting the equipment, like just getting started. It's cash intensive.
But there's another elephant in the room when it comes down to snow and ice, and it's the snow management companies, right? Because now most of the contracts, the high profile, the high level contracts, the national contracts are in the hands of snow management companies, which do not perform any of the work. They have no trucks, they have no crews, they have no equipment. They sub it all out.
And they sub the responsibility out.
Of course. So the majority of the market now the vast majority now of the market is snow management companies. Right. And now we're seeing a lot of mergers and a lot of larger players coming from the US market here. There's been a few in the last 24 months where snow management companies are getting larger. They're taking over more contracts, and then they're piecing it out to individual guys, which in theory is fine. The problem is the snow management company is a lot more knowledgeable on how to handle a snow contract in a specific way. By sometimes pricing them too low or pricing them out of profitability potentially, right? 2, they hold all the contracts, right? So they essentially hold the power. So if you're taking too much work from a snow management company, you're losing a lot of the leverage. They're holding you to a certain standard. So there are then good snow management companies that they pay their guys, they provide the support, they take their piece, but they're then pricing the clients at a high level where they can take their piece, they can give the right amount to the contractor, and everything's great. The majority are not. The majority are pricing too low. They're taking on 100, 200 sites at a time for a discount, and they're giving it to the guys for a price where the only way that price point makes sense is if the guy is going to work him, a couple guys, self-perform it, not be able to cover his overhead, and take it from there. So one thing I would say just straight off the bat as a barometer, take every single contract and take 25% out of it right away off the top. You're working with 75%. You need that 25% to cover your overhead. Yeah. Whatever that overhead may become. Today, maybe it's not 25% of that deal. But if tomorrow it is, you got to cover that. Then you take another 20% and you cover your equipment. Most guys, they own their trucks, so they think, okay, it's money in the bank. What about the replacement cost of that vehicle? So right away, any contract that for us comes in, we're taking and we're splitting it in half. That's what we're working with, 50%. The other 50% is to cover our overhead and pay for our equipment, even if it's brand new equipment that we own. We would need to replace that equipment in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And the pricing of this equipment has gone insane.
Skyrocketed.
Over the last 3-4 years. Yeah. So if you own a piece of equipment that you bought for $100,000 10 years ago, that thing is now $300,000. Eventually, you're gonna have to pay that $300,000. So you're gonna have to capture that somehow. So when you do that with some of these contracts, these guys are presenting, these snow and ice management guys, well, there's nothing left. If you cut that contract in half, you can't do anything with it. So that's just a quick test that we do. Contract comes in, we split it in half. Okay, here's what we're working with. Can we perform it now operationally for that amount, depending on what we actually need on site? Okay, yes, let's do it. Removing the equipment out of the equation, obviously. Can we perform it operationally, considering our costs for material, our costs for labor, considering our costs for actually physically performing the work, and then the actual margin. So for us, it's 20, 30, 25, 25, roughly. We kind of want to look at the numbers that way. 25 overhead, 25 for the equipment recapture, and anything associated with the equipment cost, fuel, or, consumables, etc. That's 25%. Then 30% is the actual labor and everything else that we need to do to perform the work, and 20% is your net clean margin at the end of it.
When you guys started this, did you have any idea of this part of the industry?
Zero.
Yeah, it's been years of spreadsheets and meetings and conversations and studying and
So it's still a viable option here, right? Like it's still a profitable business.
It's an amazing business.
Really?
It's an amazing business and a great business to get into right now. Lots of guys
just know how to run it though.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to know how to run it efficiently and profitably at the level of the actual route. And everything is about the route. The route is the most important thing. If you're profitable at the level of the route, then you're able to replicate and add routes from there. But you need to study every single property that you're taking on, and every single day that we're in this business, I'm shocked more and more at some of the pricing that's coming at me, and I know guys are doing it for those rates, and I know they're making money the first year, but you have to do your numbers and understand how is this thing going to look like in 5-10 years. Right now, what's happening is a lot of guys get in and they're out just as fast as they came in because they don't know their numbers.
So there's a lot of turnover on.
Yeah, or you have the big boys
Tons.
coming in and swallowing them up. That's happening a lot in the industry too.
Yeah,
and we're actually like we were at the Snow and Ice Management Symposium. We were holding a keynote there in Pittsburgh, and we went to another keynote, and this is our first time being introduced to it. But there's venture capital now entering the industry. So with this with the Snow and Ice management companies, with like especially in the States, it's picking up some speed. But they're bringing in venture capital and they're amalgamating companies. They're buying out other companies, and because we listen to them talk about it, it's safe money, it's recurring money, it's a good investment, and the industry's growing. So they want to come in and start trying to make their money. And I think their investment strategy is 5 years now. They try and come in. Put money into a company, help it grow. After 5 to 6 years, 7 years, they're out.
Amalgamate, buy up other companies in the space as well, and roll it up and roll it up into one national. There's a great desire now to have a national brand, coast to coast with this stuff, right? So there's a lot of
that doesn't exist in Canada.
It does a little bit. There's a couple
Like
of players in that,
or
nationally, couple, but they're either franchises or the snow management. So now it's the reverse, where guys are trying to come in and buy enough companies where they can be a snow management company that then contracts out to their own individual companies that they own. Tons of private equity that is. M&A was literally on the cover of the Snow and Ice magazine, like maybe 2 months ago. It's the hottest topic right now in the industry. Lots of money's pouring in. Great, lots of opportunity. So the way we look at it is, okay, what are the things that are actually going to make a company valuable? Right? There's a great book, Built to Sell, and if you build a company that is profitable enough to be sold, then it's also profitable enough and healthy enough to be run at a high level. So what's going to make a company in this specific space really, really profitable? It's for us, it's either you need a lot of diversity in your client base. Some guys are doing that with residential snow, and they're doing a great job, and they have a few thousand clients, and that's recurring, and that's fantastic. Now those clients are generally going to cancel at a much higher rate than commercial, but you're protecting your downside risk by having so many different clients to work with.
Those are driven by economical times too, though.
Exactly, but there's enough there of a base to play with, and then versus the other side of the equation. So to me, it's either A or B. Either you do A, get lots of clients and make sure that every single client is about 1% of your revenue or less. Or B, and those are like reoccurring, right? You're not signing a 5-year deal with a residential client. They're just renewing every single year. You have a really robust sales process, et cetera. Or B, with us, for JFS, we don't have this crazy sales process. It's just more about finding the right relationships, finding the right clients, and finding those few clients that are going to give you more work, and making sure that the work you are getting is under multi-year deals, and you're getting lots more work from one specific customer. So one client can deliver you multi 6 figures or millions over the course of 3, 4, 5 years, and you're really baking in that recurring revenue where you sign a deal, you're set for the next 5 years with this client. So X amount of revenue is coming in over the next 5 years, and that's how you build it. And there's a lot of value, obviously, in those contracts.
Experts in smart home technology. Why settle for anything less than a home technology service company that truly understands flawless Wi-Fi, unparalleled security, and immersive whole home entertainment? Andrew is the driving force behind Uplynk Smart Homes. He isn't just an industry expert, he's a visionary who creates smart spaces that resonate with your lifestyle. In today's connected world, clients demand more than just speakers and routers. They want an integrated system that seamlessly blends technology with the fabric of their home. Andrew and his team are dedicated to turning your home into a hub of innovation, where every device, network, and system works in harmony to enhance your daily life. At Uplynk Smart Homes, they specialize in designing and installing cutting-edge smart home systems tailored for your unique needs. From optimizing Wi-Fi coverage for flawless connectivity in every corner of your home, to implementing healthy home options like circadian rhythm lighting. Their solutions are both high-tech and user-friendly. They also create whole home entertainment setups that deliver stunning audio-visual experiences, whether you're streaming your favorite shows or hosting a movie night. Andrew's approach goes beyond simply installing equipment. It's about truly understanding their clients and designing a smart home that caters to them. Contact Uplynk Smart Homes today at 289-240-0600 or visit them at www.uplynk.ca. For inquiries, email them at admin@uplynk.ca. They guarantee that smart home technology will make your life better, but only if it's done right. This message is proudly supported by The Construction Life. When you guys were building this business out, did you guys compare it to other industries to get a sense of how to build this business out? And I just bring that up because of the Model T, you know the story about Ford, right? Model T in Chicago, meatpacking district.
I don't know that story.
I think I've
The way he
briefly
came
heard
up with the assembly line.
Oh, yes,
He saw the assembly line in a meatpacking district,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
he said that this was, one person made one cut, another person made the next cut, and he just applied it to the automotive industry, and that's how he developed the assembly line.
And we were recently reading the book on Elon Musk,
Oh yeah.
where he's basically saying, okay, well, the factory is my product. Like, I'm not building the car, I'm building the factory, right? I'm building the system that is then going to go out and build. And me and Nem were always fascinated by reading these biographies of different industries. But I don't know, what industry would you compare this to?
It's tough. It's just super unique. It's super unique because of the nature of the contracts, the nature of the liability, the nature of the structuring. Like,
There's a lot of moving parts.
it's a lot of moving parts, and it's a lot to learn, especially like if you've never done it before, or maybe you've done a little bit of it, but like when you dive deep into it, it gets fucking big, man. And it is intimidating. But like we went head first, and it's very hard to compare it to anything. But like really going to SIMA, going to the Soil and Ice Management Association, you get to learn so many different things because everybody does things uniquely, and everybody has something to bring to the table. And like you go talk to different guys, and they're always coming up with new tech, like new tech for salt dispensing, for this and that, like snow melting.
But that's just more overhead for you guys, man.
Yeah. But like if you really want to learn, like that's where we learn. And again, like even these contract compositions, like you get to learn about how they structure it in Montreal, and how in Montreal they don't use salt. They use more sand, more soil for some of these properties, right? Because it gets really, really cold over there. And then in the States, the push per inch, right? And they have like completely different systems. Even like in Quebec, they use tractors. They don't use any front end loaders. Here we use tractors, but they're rare. It's a lot more front end loaders. So like, and this is the stuff that you pick up when you have guys from all over North America coming to one spot and talking about the business, going to different keynotes, learning, networking, and really that's where you get to expand kind of your mental horizon about the industry. And that's certainly what did it for us. And then, you come up with your own unique ways on how to tackle your own problems. And it's really about fine tuning that. You fine tune the solutions and you get them to an exceptional level, and then you can move on to the next thing, tackle the next problem.
And the other thing is with this is a sell first, then perform type of model.
Yeah.
Right. Which is in some ways fantastic, but you need to know then what to focus on. So instead of really focusing on sales with this operation, it's the other two levers of people and operational efficiency, right? Or technology or whatever, however way you're going to get your operation to a certain level that is efficient enough, because the work's already there. It's there, it's guaranteed. Now it's about developing the people and developing the operations that are going to fulfill that. Whereas, on the ceiling side, it's more like a maybe a pool cleaning business, or a
painting
or something, where you're constantly having to sell the next project, and you need a really, really robust sales system, and the sales then is the main driver of that operation, and where that operation is going to go. Whereas here, undoubtedly, it's the people. The people are gonna take this operation where it needs to go over the next 3, 4, 5 years, In the other business, I think it's really dialing in the brand and dialing in the sales process.
Yeah, systems.
It's just implemented, but it sounds like you guys are spending a lot more time on the snow side of things than you are on the actual ceiling. But then you guys are also doing the deck protection and then restoration and epoxy and all that other stuff.
We were just talking about this. We were in Kitchener just having a meeting with some guy in a similar industry, but we were chatting on the car ride back about how I lost my train of thought here. Yeah, sorry. How unique? How unique our season is.
Yeah.
How pretty much so. Let's start from now. So in July, August, we start selling for the winter. Our summer operation is still running, and we still have to manage that. Yeah. Then you're coming towards October. You have to shut that down and slow it down, shut it down, redo your entire fleet and winterize it while you're still selling your contracts, while you're turning over your guys. You have to train your guys, you have to get them ready, you have to hire all your labor for the winter. Then the winter happens, you're performing all of that, you're spending that winter time now, prepping a little bit of the summer just for snow, and then now you're developing the brand and improving your systems for sealing while you're not out there plowing and performing the work. Then when you get to kind of the end of the season around April, you have to restart the entire company, start selling, start prepping for your season, turn the fleet back over to summer, get ready for the summer, and then operate the summer while still operating some of the landscaping. And that's every single year, like we're going like this. And you're never like not working on both of the companies. There's only a very brief period of time where you're taking a break from one brand or the other. But it's pretty much the entire year. It's just like, it's very unique when and how we work on these things, but it's very seasonal when the brands get developed.
So, and then you guys got into the epoxy as well, right? Or
yes.
Is that just another, okay. And then is that growing, the deck restoration?
That's more of like that's a vertical inside of the brand.
Yeah.
It, depending on the seasonality of it, very, very saturated market.
Yeah. It's good to upsell. It's good to have a little bit more, and you're doing the interlock, and then hey, how's your garage? You got epoxy in there? Would you like to redo it? Yeah. And then you're already there. It's a great add-on. But we're not that huge in the epoxy. It's mainly the wood and the concrete, and then interlock's really the leader there.
You getting clients that are asking you to start fixing a bunch of stuff, so
absolutely
all the time,
absolutely,
right? And especially if you guys clean stuff up, they start noticing defects,
Yeah, and we'll get some relays. We don't tend to do like full driveway relays. We're getting a little more into that, but typically if it's something small or a smaller area, we'll take care of it, no problem. But it's the full restoration process, right? The whole pressure washing, stain removal, remove all the old sand, the weeds, replace that. Or if it's just concrete, just wash it and then really provide the protection, 2 to 3 years of protection. And it's a good turnover. Like you can do the job quickly. The tickets are a little bit low, like the job price, but you can do a lot of them. And like I said, like we were talking about, if you dial in the systems, it's an operation and a half. You could be doing like, how many jobs can we finish in a week?
20, 25, 30.
Yeah, we can get 25 to 30 jobs done in 1 week per location. Once everything's dialed in, right? Like all the guys are trained, your managers are dialed in, your scheduling's dialed in, your sales process is dialed in, the leads are flowing well. You can get like that. This thing could be a beast.
And obviously different CRMs, different software for every single one of these companies.
Yeah, different tech.
So like we were also talking about like why, and even with Redefine Blue Collar and some of the other things that we're doing, like why so many different directions. But the way that I like to look at it is, this thing is just it's a big umbrella, right? I wanted to create the type of organization, sort of like a magnetic field almost. Like when you enter, what are you interested in, right? What direction do you want to go? We can go different ways, right? If our product is the people, then and the culture, and it's all under one umbrella, then we can go in different directions with this. Okay, so you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to be an actual owner. Great. We're going to be developing this franchise system with just sealing so you can actually have that type of ladder and that type of career path. Okay, you want to be an actual executive and you want to have a leadership position in a company that has lots of employees and you want to fill that role. Great. JFS, we have that path and we're doing that. You want to be a team member in one of these companies? Okay, we have year-round roles and different things. You want to be in media and marketing and branding and a different space? Okay, we have different guys that can plug into those different roles. We want to get into education. We want to develop that specific brand, Redefine, and the other stuff that we're doing. okay, so now we can bring other guys in, and we have a remote team as well that was up to what, like 10 people, 12 people at one point.
Yeah.
And we're going to be building that side as well, where, okay, now we can bring a different angle to what we're doing. So not anybody, but we can facilitate a career ladder or a growth ladder in different directions for the people on our team, which can help us retain, develop, and, you know, really attract talent at a high level and grow that talent. And then we can say, okay, so this is our team. So the guy we were talking to earlier today, I'm thinking like, okay, so we were chatting about his business. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he can work with us in a certain capacity. I love just meeting people and right away trying to piece them into what we're doing.
Yeah.
If we can attract that, if we have the best talent, if we can attract the right guys and put them in certain positions, and we have that ladder for different guys where they're going to be attracted enough to stay there, okay, that's it. We're going to be unbeatable with this thing, whatever we're doing, right? But we have to create that ladder, because I can't look at a guy and tell him, listen, you're going to be stuck in this position for the next 10, 20 years while I'm going to be growing this company and you know, talking about valuations and you know, the exit strategy and the financials behind it. And okay, that stuff is great. But if that's all just for one person, for leadership, that's not enough. It has to be shared all across the board, and people have to feel like they have a ladder and a path that they can actually follow and they're interested in following.
And it's something exciting to follow.
Something exciting to follow.
Yeah, that's what I was going with about comparing it to a different industry.
Yeah.
You could still take these same principles to something else if there's something else.
Yeah,
that
we
can be done, right?
chat about it all the time. So like we said, we read a lot of these biographies or autobiographies of a lot of guys that have developed large companies. So anywhere from Amazon to Zappos, to Nike to Walmart, and like especially a lot in the tech industry, Silicon Valley. And we understand the unique culture of like tech startups. And for the first couple of years for us, for example, like we always had this joke, like we're running this company like a tech startup, because we're in the office 24/7. Everybody's doing everything. You're going from jumping into a machine, into the office, making contracts, doing the marketing, doing the branding, managing the team, hiring the team, everything A to Z. You're doing all the time and forcing the growth.
Every dollar is going back in.
Every dollar is going back in, and you're just trying to blow this thing up as quickly as possible, as much as possible, while not having it implode. So we did very much develop an environment of a tech startup and a culture of a tech startup almost, where it's just, it's hard work, it's dedication, and it's like, it's up to you to build this thing up and blow it up. And again, and like that's what he was alluding to, where guys need to get excited behind it, right? And I remember those first couple of years, like just seeing the numbers go up, seeing the company develop, seeing the team grow, getting the warehouse, like remodeling the warehouse, like that is such an exciting time. Such an exciting time, like with that growth and with that expansion, and guys really enjoy that, and guys can get behind that. And when you don't have that growth, when you don't have that excitement, when you don't have a lot of movement, that's when things can slow down and mentalities change, and you know, guys have looked for other opportunities, other ways out, or they look for other careers. But yeah, we're really focused on a hardworking environment, lots of hard work, and really just getting people excited and riled up with what we're doing.
Here's a crazy idea. I was just thinking about that, because you mentioned you've gone to so many of the trade shows to look at the industry and how it's evolving and the innovation that's coming down the road. I'll present this idea, but I don't even see this idea being implemented. But why can't you in the future, what's that vacuum that's called in the house, the Roomba? Is it whatever the Roomba
automated
vacuum
one,
thing?
yeah.
Why can't you create a snow removal system like it comes out of a garage from whatever place of business it is, and it Roombas the fucking snow out of there? Yeah. But here's my thought process. It probably won't go because AI, right? It probably won't go because where do you point the liability to? It goes right back to the building.
Well, it would work for residential. It might work for residential, but they are developing
your own
that.
Driveway. It comes like out and it does it on its own.
They are developing that. Funny enough, that this was the first year we actually saw something like that at SIMA.
Yeah.
They
Someone
actually
had something similar.
No, they legitimately had a robot, like a machine.
Couple companies.
Yeah, and then just a plow in front of it, and they were showing
Open
like
face plow.
Yeah, just a straight edge plow. And they had on the machine, and they were showing some videos of how it worked, but like it was really slow. It's clearly like not there yet. And like when they were showing it around, they actually had a guy walking around with like a little controller around him, and he was actually just moving the machine around because they still haven't developed it and got it there.
But if you have your driveway, and it goes the same thing. If you got a commercial space and it's a parking.
Yeah, but how expensive is that going to be? That's the thing. Like, how much are you going to pay for this? How much does this piece of tech cost?
So the same machine that you guys are using to clear this, the only thing is you're eliminating the human factor driving around.
Yeah.
And now, as long as you have a system that can clean it right to black, let's say black surface, right?
Yeah.
But I keep on thinking it will never be implemented because the liability can't be pointed at anybody outside of the property management.
Absolutely. And then you need the salt. Who's going to salt it? Right.
Well, it would just carry the salt with it, and it goes as it follows it, right?
What happens when it empties? You have to go back. You still have to manage that, and even like the snow game is complicated.
Yeah,
like
even
Elon
Elon hasn't figured this one out yet. But then I guess because his cars are still hitting people.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That's why, right?
Yeah. Plus, you get a heated driveway, and there you go.
And it's probably cheaper.
There's a problem solved right there. There's a bunch of guys working on this stuff, though. You know, specifically with these self-driving sidewalk units. So I think they're targeting the sidewalk segment first, because that's sort of the segment where most of the labor is.
But it'll come around. It'll come around. Same with the loaders too, probably. But it just the whole thing is they just have to make it cheap enough for it to be able to go to market and make it make sense for anybody to buy it, right? Because right now, like, and it's still very rudimentary. It's still very early, so they haven't they're still developing the tech. So right now, like, even if you're trying to get into that, it's extremely expensive. So it's at least a couple years before they're able to really develop something.
Like 10 or 15 years, you're going to start seeing this.
Well,
a version of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like we were chatting about this recently too. John Deere, for example, they're restructuring a lot of their company, and they're kind of moving away from this equipment and farming sector where they're trying to position themselves more as a tech company. So they're integrating a lot of AI. They have a lot of data. They work with a lot of satellites because of the farming industry, right? So they have precision farming, and they have a lot more self-driving vehicles now. So
a lot of farming are self-driving.
Yeah. A lot. And John Deere really over the last 2 decades has kind of reworked their company to be more tech and more oriented towards that side of things. So like inevitably that technology is going to cross over to snow. But again, like you're saying, probably 10 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 15. We don't know.
Don't worry. With the amount of chemtrails they're throwing up in the sky, we won't have any more snow, right? Are you ready to transform your kitchen or bath into something exceptional? Natalia Pierce, Certified Master Kitchen and Bath Designer, CMKBD, from Detail by Design, Ottawa's go-to kitchen and bath design specialist, is here to help you do just that. Natalia doesn't just design spaces, she creates life solutions with precision, ensuring every detail meets your vision and stays within your budget. From first-time clients to those returning for their next project, Natalia values every opportunity to create functional spaces tailored to your unique needs and designed to last through many life stages. She's also excited to collaborate with new tradespeople and builders, bringing fresh ideas and expertise to every project. Whether you're a homeowner looking to upgrade your space or a tradesperson eager to work with a design pro, Natalia expertly balances satisfying challenges with beautiful results. Ready to start your journey? Reach out to Natalia Pierce at natalia@detailbydesign.ca or call her at 613-299-6464. Let Detail by Design guide you to a space that's perfect in every way. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. You guys still have a love for the snow? Or you have a love for the challenge of this industry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it could be a love and hate relationship. Like January 17th, 2022, the city shut down for 3 days. We were working 40, 50-hour shifts. Like it was brutal stuff. And like that type of stuff, it does damage you and it does leave a scar. But like we do love it. Like it does get hard, it does get challenging, but at the end of the day, like it's our company, it's our guys, it's our work, our machines. Like we love it. We enjoy it. And, we're actually getting really excited for this winter. We're hoping there's going to be a little bit more snow, a little bit more work. So,
isn't that the rumor that we're supposed to have a pretty decent snowfall this winter?
It's going to be
on paper. Technically, the way it's looked at is if you have a really, really bad winter, the next winter is going to be a regular medium winter, and then you're going to have a late winter.
That was
no. So 2022
right?
was
it bad? 23 was easy.
Was medium. Yeah, medium, and then this winter was light.
Yeah.
So technically, we're due for another really, really bad winter. Like, but who knows? Who knows with the climate and with the weather? Like, it's always unpredictable.
So then tell me now about the the redefined blue collar thing. That came about from what? You guys are having conversations?
That was, I would say that was what, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and
that.
You remember earlier how we were mentioning how like we only in the last couple of years kind of reflected on our stories and how we all came together, and then that idea was kind of birthed from that, plus some of our passions. So we have a lot of creative and media passions, and we integrate that with our company, like with all the content that we make, with whatever we like integrating. We even have like a full blown studio in our warehouse. So we kind of married that with our story, where like we see how much excitement there is in the industry, how much money there is to be made, how much opportunity there is, and we don't consider ourselves your regular stigmatized snow guys.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a huge stigma in general in the blue collar industry.
Of course.
Right. So like even growing up, both of us heard it. I'm sure you heard it too, where go to school, don't break your back like your dad, go work in an office, go make your money, get a degree, and then do whatever the fuck you want once you get your degree. And then very much that was the way I grew up, and that was the way I was pushed. My dad still does construction to this day. And he didn't want me to take the same path that he did. And then school happens, and I was really, really invested in school. And then they kicked me out because of the COVID bullshit. And I'm like, I'm one of your top performing students. I'm paying you all this fucking money, and you give me the finger? Fuck you.
I never understood that. It was a private business. You paid for this.
Yeah. And then they just didn't let me enroll for reasons I don't want to get into.
Yeah.
So then we got into this industry, or I got into this industry, and we started working together, and you start realizing these aren't dirty people. These aren't like you're stigmatized like blue collar guys. Like these are great guys. This is a great business. These are smart people, and you start meeting a lot of people in the industry. And then you kind of start realizing like the stigma's there, and you realize the reason for the stigma, but you start realizing the opportunity that the industry has, especially blue collar. Huge opportunity.
Massive, I know.
Yeah, and a lot of room for improvement too. A lot of room for improvement.
How do you do that when you're challenging DEI bullshit?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
I think the way I would do it is I stop talking about DEI. It's not a part of the equation.
Yeah, and again, like absolutely, and we don't really talk about it because we don't give a fuck about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We don't care where you're from, who you are, what you are. Just work. Yeah. If you're working hard and you're a decent person, who gives a fuck? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So.
That's how you solve it. That's how you grow it. That's how it's just simple as that.
And no, and I like your outlook. Again, I saw that little clip where I believe you were in your car and you were talking about specifically qualifications. And it's like, who gives a fuck where you're from, or what color your skin is, or are you qualified for the job or no? That's it. And you were talking about the composition of the industry too, which absolutely is not reflected in any of the branding or the marketing of the industry. They're making it seem something that it's fundamentally not. Right. So, and that's incorrect. It's giving a false idea of the industry. And
that's the problem that I have, is that you get anybody new that wants to get into the industry, they get into the industry and they're like, I don't understand this. I don't recognize this. It doesn't make any sense to
Absolutely.
me. This is not what I was told.
Then the damage there is we're not attracting the best talent. Right? Because guys are looking at it from the outside in. I have a very similar story to them as well, where, you know, for years you're told that this is a space that you're going to get into if things don't work out in school, and something happens, or you don't study and you don't get good grades, the backup and the consolation that you're going to get is you're going to be stuck working in the blue collar space. I
that's
left.
Not even an argument anymore, man.
But you're still going to be hearing
society.
that.
I know.
You're still going to be hearing that. And I left after 3.5 years of university with 1 semester left to pursue this in this space, and everything I've learned here. And I went back and I finished as well, but whatever I've learned here, the lessons that I've taken in being in the industry and trying to grow companies in the space is far beyond what I learned in school or what I learned in other jobs, in other fields. And I'll say this too, it's all about culture ultimately, right? If we have a certain culture within one company, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're able to project that culture out into the industry as a whole, then we can actually shape the culture into what it needs to be. So what direction do we actually want to go? That's what essentially the brand is all about. Identifying the direction that we want to go, finding the people that are actually doing it right, that have the right culture, that are making the changes that need to be made in the space, highlighting them, highlighting their stories, creating a community around that, potentially creating some events around that, bringing more people in. Again, I go back to the gentleman that we just met earlier today. I think, he's doing this thing on his own. He doesn't have the community that he needs to be successful. And he already is successful, and he's doing a fantastic job, by the way. Great guy. But I've done it as a lone wolf. You've done it as a lone wolf. A lot of guys are out there, and they're trying to figure this thing out alone. I think it's about creating that community, number one. Number two, figuring out what we want that new culture to be, because there's a lot of young guys that are entering the industry, and they're saying, okay, I'm just going to fall into however it is right now. Okay, but we have an opportunity to create something new and create something unique. What we've been able to do with our company and what we've done. And number three, it's like, okay, if we're not going to encourage more people to get into the space, then the space can't improve and it can't create the added opportunities for people that are currently in it. And if the space doesn't improve and evolve, then obviously it's not as great of an opportunity as it can be for bringing new people in. So if we attract the talent and we talk about it in a way and we position it in a way where it's actually valuable, it will become more valuable.
Yep.
As it becomes more valuable, it's attracting more talent. As better talent comes in, it becomes better. And there's tons of young guys that we're talking to every single day that are either in the business or they don't know how to figure it out yet, but honestly, they are a lot further ahead than we were. And that goes to stuff like this and other education that's out there. Number one. And number two, you're talking to a lot of guys that are in the business, but the thing that almost all of them are saying is how they have this desire to get out, or how this is temporary. There's like a guilt around it. Yep. Where somebody's not just going to stand up and say, hey, listen, I'm pursuing a career in the blue collar industry and I'm here to dominate and I'm here to make this industry what it's supposed to be. And this is my thing. I'm putting this on. You mentioned it earlier, where it's not sexy and it's not attractive. It's not glamorous. Okay, that's what we're talking about. This thing, traditionally, it does have that stigma to it. It has that label on it, right? So we want to showcase that, hey, okay, it's not glamorous from one direction, but it's an amazing opportunity from a different direction, and the lifestyle that we have and the lives that we lead are exciting, and we cannot even imagine being behind a desk every single day and not doing what we do. And every single thing that you want to pursue within your passions and all of the different unique nuances that make all of these guys unique in their own way, you could pursue that here. This is an arena for you to come into and play whatever game you want to play. That's what ultimately the brand's all about. It's like, okay, we're putting our stamp out there and saying, okay, we're putting this industry on the table as, in my opinion, the go-to place for any young entrepreneur, a young intrapreneur, young leader who wants to lead a company, a team member who wants to build a career, and honestly, anybody else who isn't seeing their path in something that is currently out there. And I'll say one last thing on it. Every single time I open up Instagram or YouTube or anything online, you're right now being inundated by messages from other industries, other careers. Yeah. Hey, get into marketing. Hey, get into media. Hey, get into tech sales. Hey, get into this. Every single other industry has a flag up and they have a really loud voice where they're not afraid to say that this is the best business to be in. Real estate, whatever, you name it. Right? Okay, well, we need to put our flag up too, because this is a fantastic industry, and I will put this thing on par with anything else. Different, not for everybody, but for some people, the thing. So I want somebody who's out there looking and they're looking online to be like, they're looking for what is their thing. No, this is your thing. This is a thing for so many people. This is a thing for us. This is our thing. And we're guys that are educated. The one thing that
I'm fascinated about it, like when I start speaking to younger people that are getting into whatever segment it is, right?
Yeah.
Is I got in and I saw opportunities at certain things, right? And I think the younger generation now is looking at financial opportunities.
Yes.
There's a huge amount of opportunities. Listen, I'm very respectful for what you guys have built and what you guys are building, and it's going to continue to grow for sure. You guys have a lot of challenges.
Yes.
There's no fucking way that you'll ever convince me to get into that space because I hate winter and I'm not a love of winter or even running a business of winter. But I see so many opportunities that you guys are creating because of winter.
Yes.
So anybody who wants to get into blue collar and do anything that's hands-on, working hard, a lot of the smarter individuals are looking at opportunities. And if you look back at anybody that's been successful, you start looking at Bezos and he's like, I'm going to sell books online at a time when nobody was selling books online. But he saw opportunity. And it's just like Elon is all about data capturing, opportunity. So if you can look at construction, the flag that the government should be setting up and all the trade schools should be setting up, they should be looking at it going, you guys are the ones that are going to look at each of these trades and figure out where is the real core opportunity here, because it's not fully realized yet.
Right.
There's still so much more room to do so much more in this one trade or all trades.
Right. Yeah. But let me have a crack at this like this. What is right now the space that has the largest need for non-automated, non-commoditized human talent? So non-replaceable human talent that AI is going to be easily replacing. And also at the same time, which industry has the largest difficulty with human talent? It's the same.
It's the same answer,
space. So the challenge is the human talent. The opportunity is the human talent. And I think it's a space that you have those two conflicting sides because of the nature of it, because of the nature that you cannot just replace people in this industry with technology. And it's, that's sort of the vacuum that is being created every single day. It's not, I don't like talking about it as much because I don't think it's just going to be something that happens overnight. But I do think that when you're looking at the long-term 10, 20, 30-year trajectory of this thing, human talent is becoming harder and harder to manage. People's behaviors are changing. Their idea of work is changing, right? And the idea of work in general, I think, is likely to change with all the technology that we're introducing and we're talking about. How? I don't know. I'm not going to try to predict the future. But what I will say is there's a problem here. There's a challenge here with human talent, and that also creates the opportunity. So if you're somebody who can come in, build a team, and create a vision and get some people together, then there's a massive opportunity to do great work here. And there's sort of a vacuum being created. But all we're saying is while you're doing that, have pride in what you're doing.
100%.
With whatever field, whether it's snow, whether it's anything else in the blue collar space, we want people to come in and be able to do it with pride and have that culture out there and have a different image out there where there's a lot more pride that you can achieve doing this type of work than many other things. And you should be able to be, at a cocktail party and tell other people that, hey, I'm in this space and do it with pride and do it with your chest.
Wear it on your chest.
Wear it here.
It's really simple. Like anybody can look this up. Yeah. Look into GFL. Meet Jonathan Sinelli, the visionary behind People First Leadership. Jonathan is not your average leadership coach. His People First Leadership approach focuses on putting people at the core of your strategy, creating workplaces where teams thrive and achieve outstanding results. What sets him apart? Jonathan is a master at asking thought-provoking questions that spark genuine conversations and challenge conventional thinking. His deep empathy helps him understand unique challenges and guide people toward impactful solutions. As an accomplished author, media host of the People First podcast, and seasoned project management expert with a background as an electrician, Jonathan offers unparalleled experience and practical insights. Whether you're interested in a one-on-one coaching or breakout room sessions, Jonathan customizes his approach to your needs. He also travels the world, speaking at conferences and business events, inspiring leaders with his dynamic presentations. Discover how People First Leadership can transform your approach and ignite your team's potential with Jonathan Sinelli. Call Jonathan at 416-717-4139 or email him at jc@jonathansinelli.com or reach out to him on his website at jonathansinelli.com. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life podcast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. Right? And I was talking about trying to parallel industries here. And I think what you guys have done regarding what the businesses that you guys are going after, I think there's an opportunity for porta potty cleaning.
Sure.
The honey wagons, right? Like it's been archaic for the longest time, right? And there's got to be opportunity there. So I think that if you showed it to younger trades or younger people that are getting into the space and not about this is how much money you can make. It's more about what can you figure out to make this industry better.
Yeah.
Because some money, and there's thousands of people out there that will make bricklaying trade. Like I've had enough people on this show that they have the same passion you guys have for snow.
Yeah.
I don't, but you guys do.
Yeah.
For a generator, for running wire.
Yeah. Yeah.
For fucking framing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing roofing in the hardest of days of summer. Like they all have the passion for that, and they're all in their own ways coming up with unique ways of doing things, right? And that's making the industry better.
Yeah.
And that's what I have a lot of respect for. So there's still, we haven't even scratched the surface. It's like less than 1% of opportunities that's out there for every single aspect of blue collar.
There's a lot of cash out there too, man.
100%.
There's a lot of cash out there.
100%, man. I got to do the 12 questions, guys. Thank you so much. Let me share all this information again. Just Sealing Protective Coatings, www.justsealing.com. On IG under Just Sealing. Contact at justsealing.com is their email, 647-724-4445. And then you have Just for Snow Property Services, www.justforsnow.ca. On IG under Just for Snow Inc. And then their email, contact at justforsnow.ca, and their phone number there is 905-233-2436. And then the blue collar, which is www.redefinebluecollar.com, and their email is contact at redefinebluecollar.com. Nem and Mika, ready?
Let's do it.
What's your favorite construction word or phrase?
Graveyard shift,
That's your favorite?
probably.
You like the nighttime?
Well, day to night, but yeah.
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect. Least favorite tool?
Sweeper attachments for vent tracks, for skid steers, for fucking anything. Just the sweeper attachment, sweepers.
What do you mean the?
Yeah, the rotating with the bucket and just
Why was wrong with?
never enjoyed using it. Too much dust. I don't think they're very effective. Just yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I don't know this word in English, but in Armenian we call it urak, which is a tool. It's a hand tool, and it has like this curve at the end of it. So it's only capable of taking. Like,
And it's for what industry? Farming or something?
you use it for farming, but then you can also use it for like a carpentry. It's basically
Sharp?
what is it?
Sharp?
It's like a wooden handle, and the edge is curved towards you, right? So you it can only drag back. And in Armenian, we say this about some people as well. Urak.
It sounds like hala or whatever. That came in
It's
Miami.
basically the type of person that only has one function, which is take. They have no ability to give to you.
Oh,
They only
Yeah.
take.
I got it.
So
That's what I love about Europe, man. Europe has always made up
Yeah.
the phrases out of one word.
For everything.
One word will
So
tell you an
unique.
entire
You just
story
know.
of how you just fucked up.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And how to
he's a
fix things.
urak. You know, you know everything about the guy.
What do you guys miss from your childhood?
Some of the freedom and the curiosity. Everything's phenomenal. Everything's interesting, and you can make a game out of anything. Like it
It's
just
still
free
there
spirit.
when you get older. It's just in the back of the
Yeah,
head somewhere,
yeah, you
right?
have to find
Deep
it.
down,
Yeah.
right?
I would say playing chess and riding my bike with my grandfather, hands down.
Construction. Well, I guess you know what? Construction sound. Do you guys love?
It's got to be a chainsaw, just attached to my
I hate
childhood.
that tool, man. It's so fucking scary.
No, when I was living back home, like you like in the fall season, you would hear a lot of chainsaws because guys would go into the forest, cut down the trees so they could burn the wood, keep their house hot. And like just the fall season, I associate with us like making our homemade brandy, stockpiling like some of our jams and our foods for the winter, and the chainsaw. Like we lived in a mountainous valley. It echoes across the mountains, and it was just something that I associate with that period of time. So hands down, the chainsaw.
We bought a Kenworth, and my guys
What color?
white and blue.
Okay.
My guys will attest to this that I will definitely do this if I like the sound of something, or if I like something, a minor detail about something. We'll go out and make a decision to buy it and bring it in. But just because of the sound of the engine, like when you fire it up, and then like sort of that air sound.
Yeah.
The brakes, yeah.
The air brakes.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool. Let's pick one up.
That's a good one. Favorite beverage?
Alcoholic, non-alcoholic?
It's up to you. It's anything's on the table.
Black coffee.
Negroni neat No ice.
What turns you on and off in construction?
What turns me on is the opportunity for growth, change, and making some cash in the industry. And then what turns me off is just some of the culture and some of the outlook and narrow-mindedness of the people in the industry and how they sometimes tend to ruin it for other people.
A lot of bubble wrapping going on these days.
Yeah. Definitely the people, the generation that built the industry and the generation that's coming in. Each of them has a unique perspective, and I love guys that are trying to make a change and make a difference, and just like people you interact with every single day is freaking amazing. What I don't like is anything like dirty and unorganized. Like dirty trucks or dirty uniforms and dirty warehouses, and it's like
could have been kept clean.
That's the image.
Favorite curse word?
Have to be, I don't know. We have some of our own internal words, but probably like zookhead, just referring to somebody who's in airhead or did something. Zookhead.
Zookhead.
Yes, and then just again referring to anybody that did something stupid or something ridiculous that you can't even comprehend how he was thinking about it. So yeah, we use it a lot. So
all right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't swear a lot, but maybe fucked. Like
shit's fucked.
Everything's fucked. That's fucked. This is fucked.
Favorite vehicle? Any mode of transportation?
Oh, I love anything cat. Any heavy machinery. I'm a little boy when it comes to this. Big cat all the way. I wear their merch. I drive their loaders. Like anything cat, I enjoy and I appreciate. Great quality, great brand, like phenomenal.
Yeah. Much of the same. We love cat. We love the big equipment. I remember playing around with the small models when I was a kid, and my family still makes fun of me for that. They're like, yeah, you grew up and you just wanted to buy everything yourself. But
do they still make those?
Yeah, Cat actually sells them. They sell full blown models. They'll sell tables. So it'll be like a mining quarry down the middle. It's fucking sick.
That's insane,
give your kids some construction toys.
Yes. And Cat merch, I have to attest to this. I have some of their pants, some of their sweaters.
Great quality.
Super high quality, super durable.
Cat's got a pickup truck coming out.
I think I saw that.
Full of shit. Is that AI?
It might have been bullshit. I saw something on that online.
You know what? It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, they have their phones too. They have a whole bunch of shit, man.
If Musk can make tequila and sell out, then it's not a bad idea.
Or those remote control huge loaders. The guy's like just sitting in his living room and he's operating a machine in a quarry somewhere.
They're all drone loaders now? Is that what's going on?
No, you haven't seen it where there's a guy in Indonesia operating a loader or an excavator in Germany. Search it up online.
Really?
They're getting more into the industry now. It's most likely not going to be very popular across the entire industry for outsourcing your labor. But if you're working in mines, terrible temperatures, anything super dangerous, there could be some usage for it.
Plus you double shift.
Yeah. The machine can operate 24/7.
Continues,
24/7.
So somebody else in a different part of the world is just logging.
Yeah, in. and then like again, you can outsource the labor. You can pay a guy a third or a fifth of what you're paying him. Like a guy in Indonesia, you can pay a fifth of what you're paying him in Europe.
And it's fascinating how these machines, like how much they cost per hour, and how they track like your specific movement. Like we have one of our guys who was operating these larger machines. Like if you're turning it a certain way or you're taking too long, everything is tracked. And they know that, okay, you're taking an extra 3 seconds every time you load or every time you turn. Okay, that's resulting in this. And the machine costs, God knows
There's a company here called Timescapes. It's an Australian guy who came up with it. And so it started off as a time-lapse video system for job sites. Yep. Strictly construction, large format construction job sites, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't stop at time-lapse video photography or anything like that. He actually started quantifying the efficiency of all the machinery that was going on in the image.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So he's selling the data, and then what he does is he has contracts. I'm trying to get him on the show. He has contracts with big builders going, do you realize that your crane op here is running 25% slower? Here are the reasons why. When you're moving material and all this, so you can watch this footage, and then his AI equipment that he's designed can quantify how you can be more efficient.
Saving people
in the
money.
same amount of time.
Yeah, wow.
Smart.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you guys like to attempt one day?
I'm huge on the creative photography, video, all that type of stuff. I would love anything creative director, like just anything creative. I want to get into that scene. When I was younger, when I was getting into video, I was directing and filming and editing a lot of videos for the underground scene in Toronto and Mississauga. And then I just carried those talents over to this. And like I still would really, really like to get into that. Still some more directing and the creative side. So,
which you're fantastic in, and you're already doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think for me as well, like if we want it, we want to pursue it. So it's for me, it's public speaking, being like a motivational speaker or a public speaker, and a writer.
Nice. What profession you guys not want to do?
Anything where there's white fluorescent lighting and fucking white walls, bro. I can't handle that. Like it's
no lighting here and no white walls.
And that's why also I fell in love with all this stuff working with him. Like we have a lot more freedom. I can say what I want, when I want, how I want. I can really dictate my own hours if I really want to. And like it's you have that freedom, and I'm not working in a fucking cubicle. I have my own office. I get to design it. I get to have fun. I get to talk shit with my boys, and I really appreciate that side of things. So really that fucking 9 to 5 in the office, it's mind numbing. Oh, mind numbing.
Yeah, 100% same, and maybe a realtor.
Last question: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
That whatever mark I was supposed to make, whatever impact I was supposed to make, I made. Whatever job I was set to do with the time that I have here, I've done. Whatever mission I was capable of fulfilling, and whatever purpose I was capable and I was meant to fulfill, I've done, and I was able to, despite the constant temptations from the devil, I was able to, get around that and actually deliver what I was supposed to deliver and make the mark that I was supposed to make.
Something similar, pretty much just like that. I fulfilled my potential. I did everything I could while I was on this planet, and I didn't commit too many sins, if we'd like to say. But pretty much just like, hey, you did what you could with the time that you were here. Yeah, good job. Like that. That's simple.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
You guys making the time,
Thank
coming on the show, talking biz, and sharing so much stuff. And I wish you guys all the best with everything, man.
Thanks for having us.
Let me know when Redefine you guys are doing some stuff, whatever. We could probably work together and do something and just.
Yeah, we got a big event coming up in December. It's just like our summit.
Yeah.
Big, small.
Firm date yet or not? Not yet.
December. What was it?
I believe it's 6th or 4th, or it's first week of December, and we're going to be running a mastermind pretty much.
Okay.
So everything that we've been doing with our company, where like once a year we get the leadership team and we do straight 3 days straight biz dev and some personal development, and then just getting everybody on board and aligned to a common vision. So now we've done our rounds, we have our experience with it. So now we kind of want to offer it to a small group externally as well, bring them in as well, whether it's snow, whether it's outside of it, and then kind of offer that to everybody and start packaging it and providing it through Redefine Blue Collar and getting some guys aligned on that personal development, business development, big picture, quantum thinking.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're all done.
All right.
Out of here.